Hi everyone, we are Team Meta with Gilman and Anar. So, why Smart Handler? Today we will be discussing Smart Fire Handler that can provide an efficient process of extinguishing and evacuation. When a fire occurs in buildings, it can catch quite quickly. It can spread at a very high rate. When this happens, we need to successfully evacuate the residents in the building and deal with the fire accordingly. Any kind of delay must be avoided. Any kind of delay can be disastrous in a time-sensitive situation. However, to do this, we need appropriate instructions to follow, and firefighters must be involved in the process even before arrival. So we have designed the Smart Fire Handler. So let's talk about the overview of the Smart Fire Handler. So what is the Smart Fire Handler good for? Here's the overview. The Smart Fire Handler is suitable for cases of rapid fires in buildings with a large number of residents. It provides residents with a more organized and well-established evacuation process. The system can be used by system operators, firefighters, and residents. It includes drones with embedded computer vision capabilities that can detect and locate fires. These drones will be used for further putting out the fire. The Smart Fire Handler also includes well-defined communication channels between actors to provide proper functionality and accurate evacuation orders. Now let's talk about the IoT devices that we use. So our Smart Fire Handler includes 5 IoT devices. We have the fire detectors, which notify the system about the fire and its location. The second, we have the sprinklers that can initialize the extinguishing of the fire. Then we have the turnstiles that can count the number of residents passing through each floor. Also, we have the drones, as previously mentioned, that will carry tank with fire extinguishing material, having enhanced computer vision. And lastly, we have the LED lights that can display the direction to residents for evacuation. Now let's talk about the requirements elicitation method and the process. As a requirement for the as a requirement elicitation method, we chose role playing. I played the role of the manager and firefighter, and my partner Anar was the firefighter and manager, as you can see. And we then switched the roles. The functional requirements that we obtained are this. You can also see the listed components, requirements, and the priority. For the user interface and light system components, the system manager should be able to handle the light system in case of an emergency. She should also be able to adjust the light on emergency exit signs depending on how safe it is. They should be able to control guiding lights in various sections. As for smoke detectors, user interface, the system manager must be able to tell or detect where the fire source is. The records about the fire must not be disclosed to residents, so to avoid panic. The firefighters should be able to get information about the fire, and the system manager should be prepared to get orders from firefighters on how to deal with the situation. When a fire is detected, managers will be notified through the fire alarms. The system manager should be able to deactivate and activate the sprinklers, guide autopilot drones to the fire source and or when necessary. The manager will instruct the drones on the location of the fires. The list of residents will be disclosed to system managers and firefighters so they are aware if all residents are evacuated to safety or if anyone is missing. Through the turnstiles, we can collect information of residents' entry and departure on each floor. These records of residents' evacuation will be open to amendments and edits by the system manager. Now it is time for my partner Anar to talk about the non-functional requirements and use case diagrams.
First, let's talk about non-functional requirements. As non-functional requirements, the UI should be simple. There must be no problem with the data transfer between different actors. The information about the status of the floors, fire locations must be real-time. The drones must also be ready for the flight putting out and should require only the location of the fire to start the mission. The system should not suffer of any kind of electricity problems, expiration date of extinguishing materials, lack of update of the responsible software. Now let's talk about use case diagram. As you can see, we have 3 actors in our use case diagram: the manager, the firefighter, and the resident. It's assumed that by manager or firefighter, we can generalize various types of managers or firefighters of their type. because obviously in the large buildings and during big fires, the number of people involved is also large. It can be observed that the system utilizes sprinklers, detectors, drones, and turnstiles. We also need to know that firefighters do not independently guide or manipulate the different IoT devices. The way it's done is they get the information from the manager and share the instructions with residents and the managers of the building. There are three sources of information. First, information about the number of people recorded by turnstiles. Second, information about the fire location detected by a fire detector. Third, information about the fire status and location detected by the drones. And fourth, information from the residents about their condition. And also, there are mainly four categories of instructions. Instruction to put out fire, instructions for setting guiding lights, instructions on drone guidance, and instructions on sprinkle manipulations. Managers might make mistakes on evacuation scheme as they are not experts. We need to leave this job to firefighters. To give correct information on evacuation, they must know the locations of the fires and the number of people on each floor. After that, instructions will be passed from them to managers. Managers will act accordingly, instructing drones and residents. And finally, the plan. We are done with the illustration phase and plan to do use case diagram refinements as the next step. After it's complete, the goal is to prepare class and sequence models, and later complete the software requirement specification. Thank you very much for listening.